I want to tell you a little story about how to create your own reality. Many years ago, when we were correspondents in South Asia, Hélène and I were going to spend the summer in Sri Lanka with our then 2 young children. We called our friends on the island to find a house for us. Hélène had a very clear picture of that house. It was to be on the beach, it was connected to a facility where we could easily eat, so that preparing food would not be a hassle as it usually is in countries like Sri Lanka, and there was a pool where our children could play outside the dangers of the waves of the ocean. Each of our friends at the time had the same response: a very nice wish list. But forget it, such a house doesn't exist unless you're a millionaire. Hélène insisted, and sure enough, weeks later we were living in a house on the beach next to a small guest house where lunch and dinner were prepared every day, and that also had a small swimming pool. At the time, I thought that we had had just an enormous amount of luck. But today, I know better. Perhaps one of the most challenging concepts for us to accept is that we create our own reality through our thinking. That's nice when you realize your dream, like Hélène did in Sri Lanka. But we also create our nightmares. There's probably not one challenge in our lives that we haven't in some way created ourselves. That's bad news and good news at the same time. Good news too, because if we can create our problems, we can also create our solutions. That is what I want you to understand. You can create your own solutions, and the name of the man who can help you with that is Trevor Blake. British businessman Trevor Blake wrote the best-selling book 3 Simple Steps, a map to success in business and life, in which he tells the story how he thought himself from a very poor boy in Wales in the United Kingdom to a successful entrepreneur selling 2 companies for more than $100 million. More and more evidence emerges from the science of physics that we indeed create our reality through our thoughts. Experiments have proven that our thoughts produce tiny electrical charges in our brain. Thus, our thoughts are energy. And we know from Einstein's famous equation that E equals mc squared that energy and matter are related, interchangeable, different forms of the same thing. This means that the energy of a thought has the potential to become its material equivalent, to become an experience in your life. Now that's what Trevor Blake talks about in his new online course, The Physics of Success, of which we're now offering you the recordings. Let's be clear on the word success. We're talking about much more than money. Success means victory. It means that we realize what we intend to realize. Trevor Blake is not teaching you on how to make more money, although his course can certainly be applied to business. He's teaching how you can create a better life for yourself and for your loved ones. And for this to happen, you need to better understand what Einstein meant when he showed that energy and matter are interrelated. In this course, Trevor Blake masterfully makes this difficult scientific concept accessible for people like you and me. And that's very important, because as long as creating your own reality through your thoughts remains a concept for us, nothing much changes. We continue living our lives, creating our own realities, but not in a conscious way. So we create the good and the bad at the same time, and we remain, as Blake would say, in quicksand. It's just as with that difficult math class in high school. When you suddenly really get it, your life changes. From then on, the concept is no longer just a concept, it has become something you're able to consciously work with. That's the promise of Trevor Blake's course. This course is one of the very best we've ever offered. Make sure you get it now. It will be good for all of us, because it's simple. If you create a better life for yourself, if more people realize their dreams, our world will become a much better place. Life is great, and it can only become greater when you begin to think even better thoughts.